Greetings, Star Warriors, and welcome to the Outer Rim. I'm just going to jump right into this article because this is the second time I'm making this video. After I saved the audio file for this video, somehow it glitched. So, today we're going to be talking about an article entitled, Everything Rian Johnson Has Been Forced to Explain About The Last Jedi So Far. And just to let you know, this is a very pro Rian Johnson, pro The Last Jedi article. So, prepare to be pissed off. It's been just under a month and a half since Star Wars The Last Jedi hit theaters, and whether they loved or hated the movie, many people have had questions about the things that happened in it. In an age where a director like Rian Johnson is both widely available on social media and willing to talk to an eager press, he's been asked about these things a lot. Johnson has been quizzed on a veritable gamut of things about this movie. He's had to explain specific choices he made for the plot, and he's had to elaborate on things already established in the movie. He's defended, discussed, even cheekily dug back into Star Wars lore in response to the barrage. But as infuriating as it can be to see the director dragged into polarizing arguments about the film, Johnson's presence in the post-The Last Jedi discourse has also given us some of the widest and most intriguing access to a creator's thoughts on this process. Why is it infuriating, I'm wondering? He's had to answer for plot holes and for his revisionist events in the film. Those are things he should be answering for. What's to be infuriated about? Anyway, moving on. Perhaps more than we've ever had for a big blockbuster movie like this. So without further ado, this is what Johnson has been asked to weigh in on about The Last Jedi thus far. He's had to answer why it's okay to have jokes in Star Wars. Why has he had to answer that? George Lucas puts jokes in Star Wars. J.J. Abrams put jokes in Star Wars. Everyone has put jokes in Star Wars. No one asked him that question. People want to know why he had the humor he had, not why he had humor in general. But let's see what this is going to say. Star Wars films have always had light moments. Well, duh. But some fans bristled at The Last Jedi's frequent moments of levity among its darker material. When asked by StarWars.com about the film's sense of humor, after a cavalcade of angry fans saw the film's jokes as the director not taking this extremely serious franchise about laser swords and space magic seriously enough, Johnson had this to say. Oh, extremely serious about laser swords and space magic. So now the guy writing the article is poking fun at Star Wars. Well, I mean, if Star Wars is so silly, why are you bothering to write an article about it, defending the movie? Here's Johnson's statement. There's a lot of just oddness in this film. No kidding. We've been telling you that, and it's stupid to have that oddness in the film. And there's a lot of humor in the movie. Kind of an obvious statement there. I mean, whatever. I mean, we have jokes. I can't get over how stupid this guy's answers always start out as. We have flat out, he's actually saying this stuff. We have flat out jokes in the film. We have funny creatures. You didn't have any funny creatures. Funny looking, maybe. I think the part of the fan base that's closer to my age, you tend to start thinking of what you'd want in a Star Wars movie in terms of the opera of it, and the seriousness of it. That's a big and important element of it, and I think we definitely served that in this movie. No, you didn't. You undermined every serious moment with some stupid gag. But it's important to then remember, you know, Salacious Crumb. And then he laughs about Salacious Crumb. Oh my god. Okay, for anyone who doesn't remember, Salacious Crumb is the little, like, rat puppet that was sitting on Jabba the Hutt's tail in Return of the Jedi. So basically what he's doing there is comparing Salacious Crumb to Luke Skywalker milking a giant sea cow. Salacious Crumb was put there to be laughed at and to make fun of other characters. Most of those characters were puppets he was making fun of. Luke Skywalker was created so that a generation of people could relate to him. You weren't supposed to relate to Salacious Crumb? I shouldn't have to explain that to a guy who wrote the story to a $200 million film. But whatever. Let's move on to his next idiotic statements. Why Admiral Holdo sacrificed herself. Oh. Now, I've talked about this before, and I've had people arguing with me about it, a video I made a while back. So I want you all to remember this scene right here I'm going to play a couple times. Okay, that's enough. Now, recently I had a guy argue with me that weaponizing hyperspace is just fine. I mean, it doesn't even cause that much damage. It only cut Kylo Ren's ship in half, and it would do nothing to the Death Star. Now, if you remember that video I played, that clip I played recently, that you saw how that one attack from that single ship destroyed an entire First Order fleet. And if you didn't get that from the first time, I'll show it again. Okay, so the damage from that single attack from that single ship destroyed like a dozen Star Destroyers that were spread out for miles through space behind each other. And from looking at it, it seemed as if the debris from ships were literally cutting Star Destroyers in halves and in thirds and in fourths. The damage is ridiculous. Okay, so the argument that that attack couldn't take out the Death Star was just dumb. Especially since all anybody would really have to do is build hyperspace missiles and shoot them at the Death Star's main gun anytime it appeared in someone's star system. That's it. The Death Star would be the most expensive hunk of junk in the galaxy. A total waste of money, a total waste of time and life. But enough of that, let's see what Rian Johnson has to say. Let's see how big a joke it really is. Admiral Hodo's lightspeed-powered self-sacrifice gave us one of the most visually enthralling moments of the whole movie. That didn't stop fans from wondering why more people in the galaxy far, far away don't just slam capital ships into each other more often. But Johnson told the filmcast recently that it's because the Admiral's maneuver was one driven out of sheer desperation rather than tactical familiarity. That explanation makes no sense. Win or lose, in battle, both sides are going to be desperate, you know. The losing side is definitely going to be more desperate, and they're going to be pushed to do things exactly like that if it's at all possible. You mean to tell me, in the 1,000-year history of the Republic and the Empire put together, there was no one who was desperate enough to pull that maneuver? Give me a break. Ridiculous. And here's more statements by Johnson. First of all, has this been done before? Period? So he's asking us because he doesn't know. How ridiculous. I've got to reserve the right for story group member Pablo Hidalgo to build it back into canon. If he's like, yeah, this is a thing, and they outlawed it. So basically what he's saying is he's going to give Pablo Hidalgo the idea to retroactively discredit all of the 7 movies that came before this in order to save his one from being the complete mess that it is. Talk about a sniveling baboon. Man, this guy is slimy. And they outlawed it? Why would anybody adhere to those laws when the Empire is going around destroying planets, and the First Order is going around destroying several planets with one shot? Who's going to obey that? Why would the Empire care to obey that? Why would the freaking Rebellion care to obey that? What difference does it make to outlaw something when you can destroy planets in one shot? What difference does it make to outlaw some sort of hyperspace attack? I mean, you shoot enough hyperspace missiles and you'll be able to destroy a planet anyway. You wouldn't even need to freaking build a goddamn Death Star. I mean, really, which one do you think would be cheaper? Building the Death Star or building a couple hundred hyperspace missiles, you know, that come with explosives on the end, you know, not like a ship, but an actual missile that explodes. Shoot it through hyperspace at a planet, shoot a couple hundred of them through hyperspace at a planet, and watch it go. Totally invalidates the Death Star. But this jabroni goes on. I think there's various ways you can go with it. But it's not like it was the plan to do this. It's a spur-of-the-moment thing. It's this idea that she gets and she sits down and fucking does it. And it obviously takes everybody completely by surprise. It takes Hux by surprise. The only reason it takes Hux by surprise is because an idiot like Rian Johnson wrote him. The fact that Hux doesn't see it coming means it's probably not a standard military maneuver. I think it was something that Holdo pulled out of her butt in the moment. We can switch Rian Johnson's name in there and switch Holdo out. I think it was something that Rian Johnson pulled out of his butt in the moment. Oh, that's classic. That's rich. Man, I can't take any more of this, so I'm not going to read any more of the article. I will leave a link to it in the discussion box below. But now I wanted to thank my newest Patreon supporter, James. Thank you, man. I mean, I can't express enough how appreciative I am of the support you've shown for the channel. It's really unbelievable, and I'm besides myself. But thank you. I really hope that I can provide you with the content that you are looking for in the future, and maybe together we can all, you know, make Disney back away from their current course of action. Like, comment, subscribe, share this across the galaxy, hit that notification bell, and as always, if you're listening, you are the new rebellion.